Get your ass mush, smush.
Hey Brats, today I'm going to be doing a barely there makeup tutorial. Now this doesn't mean that I don't know that you have makeup on. This tutorial is more for the girls who like a minimal look, or if you want a spring, summer, glowy, but natural kind of makeup. I got your back, babes. I got your back. I'm not with much of the talking, so let's go straight into the video. Cameras rolling. Can somebody do the... Anyway, let's go. I did do my brows off camera, so if you guys want a brow tutorial, just let me know and I'll drop it. But I'm going in with my foundation. It's the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Coconut, which is $3.55. I just put like small circles on my face just so I can like build as I go if I need to. You don't want to put too much on or it might get cakey. So you still have a little bit left on your hand to work with. One thing I always do is that you must damp your brush or your sponge, whatever you're using, but I like to give it a damp so it can just blend really well. You see how it's just kind of just melting into my skin and blending so well. I think just putting a little bit of water on your brush really does help with that. And don't be shy. If you feel like your brush is getting a little bit dry, just keep going in, spray like one dab, and just make sure that it's smooth enough to go around and really just blend that foundation into your face so it can look more like skin and not cakey. Then I go on with my Too Faced concealer in the shade Warm Beige. I swear up and down by Too Faced. So you saw that I scraped some of the product off. You don't want to put too much product on because it's going to look super bright. You just put some in your inner corner, on your upper lip and chin. Then I go on with my darker shade of concealer, which is the honey one that I use, the same Too Faced. And I put it on the outer parts of my eye, and that's the only place where I put them, just so your eye can get more of that full coverage. As you can see, I'm using the same brush that I used to blend my foundation, to blend my concealer as well. I did damp it again. Make sure that you keep your brush moisturized, guys. Make sure that you're making sure it's moisturized because it just helps everything blend in so easily. Now, when I get to my eye part, I make sure not to drag it down too much. I focus on what I need to focus on, which are my bags. So I stay right in the area where all my eye bags are, and I just keep blending in and then out and lifted. So one of the things that I personally like to do is to go in with a smaller brush where I left like a little bit of concealer so I can really focus on right underneath my eye. I want to make sure that I have control of where I'm putting my concealer. So when I go in with that smaller brush instead of that bigger brush that I was using to blend more bigger areas, it just gives me more control where I can just focus on right in the areas that I need it. And I actually do bring it up into my eyelid as well. This is a product that I also swear by too. It's the Sasha Buttercup Setting Powder. I use this every time to set my face. I just take a little bit, knock off the excess, and then I just kind of blend it into my face. I'm not too much of a baker, but I do like pressing powder into my face because I feel like it gives it more of like a natural look. I'm not sure if it like has the same effects, but it just works for me. So if you're a baker or if you're more of a presser, do whatever works for you. So I put it in all the areas that I put my concealer. Okay, I lied. I actually do bake, but I only bake where my bags are. So I go in right underneath my eye, and that's where I need it to be the most bright because that's where most of my dark circles are. So while I am baking, I use my Morphe contour palette and I use the lightest shade that I have, and I just do a light contour all over my nose. I don't do really specific areas, but I make sure that the center of my nose kind of gets more contour so I can really get that button nose effect. And then I go back in with my Too Faced concealer and I put a small dot at the tip of my nose, and then higher up on my bridge I put a small line as well to give it that natural highlight. I then let that set as well while I do my contour around my face. I go in with the same palette and a bigger brush, and at an angle I just put it on the higher parts of my cheekbones. You also want to get the top part of your forehead to really give it like a warm tinted look, and also on your jawline. So that gives you like an E sort of shape with your contour. I'm not much of an eyeshadow girl, so I do go in with a bronzer from the same Morphe palette, and I just put that all over my lid just to give my eye some color, because you don't want your eye to be naked. And I make sure to blend it right down into my nose contour so it looks all connected and seamless. And on the outer parts of my eye, I go in with the next shade darker just to give it that little, I don't know, pop that it needs. After my contour, I use a smaller brush for more detail, and I just blend out that concealer. I also use my fingers. I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like my fingers blend better than a brush, especially when I'm trying to get like a small area like my nose. So I keep going back and forth, alternating between the brush and my finger. Okay, y'all, don't be like me, be better than me, because I did over blend my concealer into my contour because I was using my finger. So just don't do it, guys. Don't do it. But I did touch it up so I can give it more of that pointy look that I like. Then I go in with my Airspun loose powder. Now this is my OG powder that I used when I first started doing makeup, and I just hit the same spots on my nose that I put my concealer. Now this is one of my, if you didn't know, now you know. I use red lipstick as blush. I feel like it just gives that look that you need. I only put a little bit of dabs on my higher cheekbone, but when you use red lipstick, it lasts way longer than actual blush to me, because of course you get the lipstick that's supposed to be lasting all day. And this is where it's safe to say you can go in with your fingers and blend that out to really give it a seamless look. You see how this gives my face that naturally rosy effect without it being too much? Yeah. That means that my bake has concluded, so I just make sure I brush off that excess powder off of my face, and it really just gave me that natural bright look that I wanted. I then go back in with my Airspun, and the reason why I use this on my nose and on under my eyes, is because it just gives me that little bright look that I need. I just kind of press it into my face just to make sure I get that full coverage with under my eyes and on my nose, because those are the parts where you have those natural highlights in your face. Oop, I put too much, but I'm going to keep going and put it in the same area where I put my Sacha Buttercup. And I make sure that I just keep pressing that into my skin. The bake in the oven is ready, guys. So right now I just brush off everything that didn't get pressed into my face, because you don't want to look like Casper. And I also brush off my one that I put on my nose as well. Then I go in with my Lancome mascara. I don't know what specific one this is, but I just noticed that it's Lancome, and I only put that on my bottom lashes. I do have cluster individuals on the top, so when I have those, it's perfect for a natural look because I don't have to put on like strips. But if I do have strips, I will put on something that looks very natural, not too much, not too bulky, but maybe like light and wispy. So I make sure that why do I always have my mouth open when I'm putting on mascara? But anyway, I just make sure that I lightly put some mascara on my bottom lashes just to give me a little pop on the eye. So personally, this is like optional, but I do have a beauty mark on my nose. If you can kind of see it, there it is. So I do like to bring that back with a black liquid liner. For highlight, I use Juvia's Place, and this is an eyeshadow palette, but it has like a nice bright color for highlight. It's the one that I'm tapping right here, as you can see, and I put that on the same spots where I put my concealer on my nose, because I feel like that's where your face has those natural highlights. Don't be scared to take some off if it looks too bright, guys. Then I like to go in with some micellar water to clean off my lips, because you never know if you have like makeup all on your lip. As you can see, I'm wiping it off, and if you guys can see the other side, it's like makeup all over my lips. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your lip routine, you have a clear and clean base. Now for my liner, this is the Ruby Kisses in the shade Dark Brown. It doesn't have to be Ruby Kisses. I literally get any dark brown liner that I can find because I feel like that's the best liner for my skin tone. But if you guys want to try a different, like a lighter brown, or if you like more of like an edgy look, you can try a black. But this is my go-to. Any dark brown lip liner, I will pick it up immediately. And as you can see, I'm lightly putting on a little as I go because you don't want your lips to end up looking too dark. That's going to take away the whole barely there look. Then I go in with my NYX Butter Gloss. This is in the shade Fortune Cookie. I love this shade so much because it's like a light pink, so it's perfect for a natural look. Make sure that you blot that in. Don't rub it together. You must blot, blah, 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 okay? You don't have to do this next step, but I felt like it was a little too pink, so I just used my finger and take off a little bit of that gloss. I like to use this Milk Odyssey lip oil from my top coat. This is like my top just clear gloss that gives my lips that shine that I like. I love, love, love this lip oil. It's not too sticky and it really just does the job. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that lip routine. It's just all comes together so well. And for my more natural looks, I do go in with my NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. I don't like to use a matte because I want it to look kind of smooth like butter. So I just spray a lot of those spritz on. Oh, my face is wet at this point. And then I make sure I just dry it off with like my hands. I just keep drying and drying and drying and drying and drying and still drying, guys. I guess I'll come back when I'm done with this. But this is the finished look, guys. This is my barely there but there makeup tutorial. This is so perfect for the summer, like I said, or if you just want a minimal makeup look. I am so in love with how this turned out. Thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.